In this video, we're going to cover measuring cubic yards with the takeoff tool. We'll walk through how to set depths, deal with multiple depth scenarios, and I'll share some tips and tricks along the way. Jumping into our estimate, I am in the category of concrete. I'm going to head to my line item of concrete, and I'm just going to establish in the unit of measure, or UOM, that I want to measure in cubic yards. So C, Y, then press the takeoff tool. The takeoff tool immediately wants us to establish the depth that we're measuring for up at the very top. Now, one quick tip, you'll notice that this is establishing feet. If you're wanting to measure depth in inches, we're going to put it into a decimal point. So if we were measuring for, say, 4 inches, we would type 0.333. And if we were measuring for the depth of 6 inches, we would put in 0.5. I'm going to start with the example of 4 inches, so I'll type in 0.333, and you'll notice the default shape is the polygon. And if you remember from previous videos, the polygon is really a custom shape, so if you have something that isn't a perfect rectangle, it has nooks and crannies, the polygon tool is probably the one you're going to use the most in our takeoff tool. From there, I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just using the scroll on my mouse, but as well, there's also in the top right, the plus button and the minus, which are also controlling the zoom if you'd like. And I'm going to start drawing just by finding any corner. I'm going to click release, and it's going to drop down a little green dot. And then from there, I'm going to click each corner, and it's going to follow. So just click release and continue. And then when I'm done, I'm going to meet it back up at the green dot to close our shape. Another thing to note is also the labels. Over on the right-hand side, kind of looks like a little present tag. If you click that on, and I'll zoom in so you can see this a little bit better, and I'll click, hold, and drag to move. Those labels are going to show every measurement of our shapes that we are doing in the takeoff tool, and as well, they are particularly handy if you do make a mistake. You can click inside that shape, and that's where we can change the depth. So maybe I realize this isn't 4 inches. This needs to be 6 inches. That's where I can come in here without having to redo the shape entirely and just change it from 0.333 to 0.5 and press close. I could also click in here and change the color. So maybe I want to color code varying depths. I could say that blue is going to be my 6 inch. I'll press close, zoom out, and then maybe for the garage up here, we're going to be doing this in red, and that will distinguish a 4 inch depth. And so up at the top, again, I still have my depth set for 4 inches, but this is a kind of perfect rectangle. So I'm just going to change my shape, and I will click any corner, release, and then click to close it up. A couple of other use cases for this tool would be for excavation, landscaping, gravel for temporary driveways or mulch, basically any material you want calculated by area plus depth. And once you're happy with those measurements, you could press accept and save, and you'll notice that both of those drawings, even though they have varying depths, they have been calculated into a total up in the top right. There's our cubic yardage. But if you wanted to separate out these depths and these measurements, you could also create separate line items and do separate takeoffs as well. And that's how you calculate cubic yardage using the takeoff tool.